Hello and great. Question is, are you ready to unleash your video marketing brilliance? And here we go. Looking forward to this one. And the funny thing is, it's probably not what you think it is. How's that for a cliffhanger? Okay, look, this is probably, as I say, this is not probably what you think it is. So yeah, look, let's dive right in. First, welcome to the Video Marketing Clinic, and I'm here to share my knowledge, insights, tips. I was going to say tricks. That's probably not the right word. I don't really share tricks because I don't think tricks are effective. Tips, methods, strategies are really the thing. And if you listen to anything I say, then a lot of it's about strategy. So wherever you are, welcome, and it's great to have you. So obviously, I'm streaming into the Art of Video Marketing Facebook group, to the Video Marketing Pros live YouTube channel, and to LinkedIn. So wherever you are, please come and comment. Tell me where you are, or if you're watching this in replay, please put hashtag replay. And if you've got any questions, then please fire away. Ask those in the questions. And particularly, as I say, if you're in the Facebook group, then I can respond. If I can't respond during the session, then I will respond afterwards in the group, and where I'm sharing more. Okay. And this week I just shared a video. I shared a clip more widely of our ideal client avatar blueprint GPT. So it effectively does a client brief, a real very good client avatar brief with only 4 inputs. So I shared a short message out there, and there is a longer version in the Facebook group. And I'm seeing someone's here. So I see LinkedIn user. If you'd like to tell me who you are, then morning to you, wherever you are. It's afternoon here. So great to have you here. I can't see, I can't remember if in LinkedIn you can, let me just share this, see if I can share this. I can't remember before. There's a link you can, which lets me see who it is. I can see it in Facebook. I can see you're on LinkedIn, obviously, and I can see you there, but I don't know who it is. So whoever you are, thank you, and thank you for being here. Look, so I was just saying that I shared something about the ChatGPT, our ideal client avatar methodology, where you only put 4 inputs in. Now, if you want to watch the longer video of that, go and watch it in the Facebook group. Okay, we're getting great comments, and people are getting blown away by it, and that's only the beginning. We've done this for a number of critical elements, particularly the early stage, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. What I want to talk about today is I'm going to get off the AI for this week. Largely, I will cross paths with it, because I'm going to tell you why. There's some big stuff happening there again. I have been testing the Bard, their new model, Gemini Pro on Bard. I wasn't very impressed with Bard before. I only used it really for research, because obviously it was Google's tool, so it was good for doing keyword research, SEO, statistics, because it drew on Google's data. So I used it for that. I had done some other stuff, and it went off in a complete and utter total flight of fancy. And to be quite honest, even though I was giving it quite a strong steer, I didn't like the outputs. I've got far better results elsewhere. But okay, Lisa, I see you. You're on LinkedIn. Great. Wherever you care to join me, that's fantastic. It shows me these platforms are working. And I hope the audio, my system was playing up a little bit earlier, and I noticed things were grinding a bit. And if there's any noise going on, that's because we've got some really gale force winds going on outside. So what I want to focus on today is, and it does relate to that, the GPT I just shared, that AI assistant, in some shape or form, because what I want to share now, Lisa, you've been on my the Video Rainmaker 5-day challenge, but for anyone, if you're not a client, haven't been one of my mentoring clients, then what I'm going to share, I don't talk about very often, and I should talk about this more, particularly our methodology and a piece of it. But if you've been on the Video Rainmaker challenge, then you're going to know the guy I'm about to introduce you to, and I'm going to show it in different forms. What I want to do is I want to share a framework which is really simple but incredibly powerful. And the reason I want to do this is what I want to stress to everyone, that there is nothing more. It's not sexy, I know, but there's nothing more important than doing this, the groundwork. And by the groundwork, I mean the competitive analysis, so understanding the competitive space you're in. Who are your competitors? What are they doing? So doing the research and analysis, then looking at your ideal buyer, which is kind of why I'd released the buyer blueprint, the ideal client avatar blueprint. And I'm thinking what I might do is I might offer that out to do that for people, because it's such a powerful piece of work. Rather than you have to join my coaching program to get the whole everything, which we're obviously launching formally in January. I'm playing with the idea that maybe if there's interest, I might just make that available and do that for people as a distinct piece of work, because it's so important. Which is why the stuff I've focused on is developing these AI assistants to do the work most people don't like doing. And to be honest, before, for me, it used to take me it would take me a number of days to go and do all this research analysis and what I was looking for. Let me just explain what's going on in my head. The reason this is so important is twofold. By doing the groundwork, in fact, there's three elements to it, really. If you have good competition in the market you're in, and good competition, I mean people who understand and know what they're doing. If you have good competitors who know what they're doing, then by looking at where they are focusing their time and effort, so if they're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever they are putting the time and effort, then that gives you a good clue where they've got big audiences. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for where they've got big audiences already. So they've engaged with them, they've built big followings, they've built big audiences. The next piece of it is you're going to have a look at what resonates. What is it that they're doing? What are they doing well? What are they doing bad? You can now ask AI for all these things. You can analyze sales pages. You can analyze content. And again, that's kind of where we're going with this. I'm getting AI assistants to go and do this work so we can see what content people are putting out, and then we can analyze what's working, what's not, what's creating engagement. And remember, there's different content buckets. That's not what I'm going to talk about today. There are different content buckets that you need to play into, and they will appeal to the different types of audience. But back to what I was saying. So what we're looking for is, what is it that they're doing that's engaging? What content are their ideal clients consuming? What are they engaging with? What are they commenting on? Likes, shares? What are they engaging with? If there's questions, stuff like that, you'll want to see. Okay, so this is all really, really important data, very important. And then the next piece, which is kind of what I'm going to talk about today, is this whole your ideal client avatar. And the reason I wanted to go back to this is not only is it fundamental to absolutely everything you do, but this step one in our foundational, and I call it mining for gold, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're mining for the gold, and it's those nuggets, it's those pieces of gold that will give you the opportunities to understand the best strategies and how you should be going about it. And by best strategies, I mean, what platforms are you best to deploy your time and effort in, particularly initially. As you get bigger and as you get better, or you have more resources, then you can do more. You can spread out across different platforms. Now, if you look at what I'm doing at the moment, and I'm going to explain the madness in my strategy at the moment, you'll see quite a lot of stuff going on. I'm doing that very deliberately because I'm feeding quite a lot of stuff out into the marketplace for a specific reason. I'm looking at what's resonating, but I'm also having a look at stuff across different platforms. Let's not go into that today. Let's leave that one for another one. But I will explain some of what's going on in my head and why I'm doing what I'm doing around some of the content strategies, because I'm actually going to be introducing another content strategy into it. And again, why I'm doing this is I'm living proof of what I'm doing. I'm building a brand. It's new to, I don't have a big following on social media other than Facebook, and that's not the ideal target audiences. Again, that's for another time. I'll explain more about that. But this foundational step really is that we're mining for gold. We're looking for opportunities, and we're looking for where we should spend our time and resources, how best to deploy that, use our limited time and resources to the best possible way. And then the critical piece to it all is understanding our ideal client avatar. And I can't stress this enough, because this is kind of what I see a lot of. And again, I've had to relearn a lot of this year, and where I thought my ideal clients were for the coaching program I'm about to launch, the Video Rainmaker coaching program, not my higher level stuff. I know that market quite well, but for the Video Rainmaker coaching program, which is, for me, it's kind of almost going back to a more grassroots approach, and it is. That's why I have to make it very clear, the stepping stone. But it's been quite a big learning curve for me to step back and you can't unlearn what you've learned, but to go back and start to appreciate and understand where everyone's at. And to be honest, most people are further back than I thought they were. And I kept on seeing some similar things. And one of the single greatest things that I see is what leads to overwhelm. So let's forget the fear of getting on camera and this whole looking at this little black eye and knowing what to say. If we can overcome all those. But one of the single greatest problems that leads to overwhelm is lack of strategy and clarity. And if you don't have a strategy, then you're going to be doing a lot of busy work and you're going to be doing a lot of stuff, and it's going to get very frustrating. It's going to get very overwhelming, particularly at the moment. Video marketing is difficult enough. There's a lot of spinning plates to do. There's a lot of stuff going on. We can simplify that. And that's what I'm doing with these AI assistants and what I'm building out. That's why it's going to go into my coaching program. I decided that to help people get to where they need to get to, they needed these tools to do it. I still would like people to understand, but they need it. And that's the same for my higher level clients. It doesn't matter. We're all doing the same things, just in slightly different ways. But here's why the client avatar stuff is so important, and even more so now. Because, and again, I'm going to explain this in another training, is that all that content we now put into documents. So we feed all this information, business details, expert bios, if it's your own personal brand, your background, your story, your product, your company, and your ideal target audiences or ideal clients, customers. And if you've walked in the shoes of your ideal client, then you are that person, so you will know it. But again, when you do that piece of research, you're going to know what resonates. You can tweak it, but all that stuff feeds into files that we use when we put it into the AI assistants. We season it, we feed that information, we put it in as documents, and we upload it with the content we're doing. And by our AI understanding and us training it, we go further. And again, that's another conversation. We go further in terms of how we train the AI. But if you do not understand and can't talk to the problems, pains, desires of your ideal target audience, then your message will be bland. And it means as this noise gets even higher because of the content frequency being put out there, your message will resonate even less than it did before. And then you're going to spend a lot of time and effort creating content for which you get no return on investment. Your time, it's your money. Okay, so it's time, money. So we want to make sure your content's working. Now, yes, you have to test this stuff. You will find some stuff will work better than others, and invariably it's not what you think it is often. So, but if by doing that early groundwork, you're going to feed that, you're going to find it better. What the AI tools are good, and that's again why I showed that ideal client avatar blueprint, is it's very good at doing that, but you still want to go back and have a look and make sure it's right. But this stuff is the foundation of absolutely everything else you do going forward. And again, most people don't understand it properly. And particularly if you're advertising, if you're spending money, now there's two ways to do advertising. And these people say, oh, this whole thing, I don't advertise or do. It's the wrong question. You use advertising when you need to, either to test messaging and offers to make sure, because that way you can get data more quickly, or when to scale. Now we talk about scaling later on in the steps I'm going to talk about. Okay, so let me just show you now. I'm going to do it in 3 different ways. Okay, so this is kind of because this framework is really, really good. It's simple. I came across it, I don't know, quite a few years ago, I guess. But I'm going to show you. This is the rough form of it. Okay, this is in its roughest form. Okay, this is how I like to show it and how I like to start it. And it's called the escape and arrival framework. Now I'm going to show you, if I can do it on the screen. Hopefully I think that's better. Right, so this is it. It's very, very simple approach, but it's really, really good to go through. Okay, and what we're saying here is this. Here's your client at the beginning of his journey. Here's your client now. And so this is the escape and arrival framework. I originally learned it, I think I came across it with Frank Kern, who's a very well-known internet marketer. I've been in this circle for many years. I've been part of his inner circle, done all sorts of stuff, and probably spent more money than I should have with old Frank. But great, but and other people use it, so I don't know where it originally came from. I've taken variations of it. I've got other mentors who've used kind of similar, but I'm not sure if it's widely out there. I kind of think, oh, everyone knows this, but they don't. But it's such a good way to look at it. So here's what you need to think about. Who, your client, who are they? Where are they? What is the problem? What is it? So this, I have two different distinct client avatars, okay? So this one's, I've basically put it, this is more for the agency side. For the experts and coaches, consultants, it's the unseen expert. They're expert. They're very good at what they do. It's just they're unseen, unheard. Okay, and they're overwhelmed with all this information. With the agency side, it's more the flustered business owner or chief marketing officer. He's trying to do too much. He's spinning a lot of plates. He's doing too many things. So what are they trying to escape from? And what is this new world? What is this new paradigm shift that they want to get to? And here, this one, it's a business change maker, which they're elevated above their business. They're not in the trenches every day. They are above, and they are empowered suddenly to do incredible things with their business. Okay, so and some others call this, so this is, they call this the struggling avatar in some cases, and this is the future-paced hero. What do they want to get to? And all you need to think about is, okay, you need to identify the pains and problems. What's going on in their heads? What is it what's holding them back? What are they thinking of? And then what does this new world look like? What is their deepest desires? What do they want to achieve? And then all you're going to do, and again, I'm going to show you this in a different format, and I'm going to show you my one too. Then all you need to break down is think about, no more, I've now cut it down. I had in our ChangeMaker originally was 14 steps. I've now cut everything down to simplify it to no more than 9 steps. Okay, so work out what are the key, this is the high level one. At its highest, what are the 9 steps that they need to go through to get to this new world? So this is, you're bridging the gap here between where they are and where they want to get to. Now, you're not going to give them all the answers at once, but what you're going to do is you're going to work out this process for yourself, because that actually can form everything in terms of the course content you put out in training, what you talk about. Again, I'm not going to go into that. You can hear me talk about it on the Video Rainmaker Challenge more, but this is these are the milestones that they need to get to this new world. And then we take that same approach, okay, that escape and arrival framework, and we do that. So I take each of those milestones and I'll drill into those milestones and then go, okay, right, so of one big milestone, what are the steps they need to go to? Now, there won't be as many in some of those steps. There won't be as many, but then I can look at it. And for me, it gives me real clarity in terms of, okay, right, I can identify the problems. I understand where they're at. I understand where they're going. And then I can look at the milestones and go, okay, right, how do I get them to where they want to go? Let me share two versions of it. One is this, the ugly version like that, not hand drawn. I like to hand draw, so I should really have my board up here. I like to hand draw stuff because it just helps me. But here, if I can share my screen, I'm going to try and show you. So first, I will show you. Sorry, I don't know how this is going to look. Right, I don't know how this is going to work. Let me just jump over to it, and it's going to show probably a horrible. Okay, let's just do it anyway, and then we'll work out what we're going to do from there. So I'm hoping that you can now see my screen, and that what I'm sharing now. Oh, that doesn't look very nice, does it? I'll share it anyway, and hopefully you can see it. So that is the escape and arrival framework for the Video ChangeMaker system. Okay, that is our 9-step process that we use. Okay, and there's exactly what you're seeing from the struggling avatar. What are they escaping from? And I've got the 2 different sort of target audiences. And then, in fact, no, I haven't. I've only got the one there. So, and then where they get to. And here's the steps. Okay, and these form the basis. And let me show you that. I hope this works. I apologize if this is not looking pretty, because you're getting that. And this is the pretty version of it. Okay, same 9 steps drawn in a good graphic. All right, and what we are talking about here is at this foundational level number 1, and that's where I'm saying you need to get this right, because this is where everything, all the strategy hangs on. Obviously, strategy feeds into other pieces. And then once we've got that, we take them, you take them in. I'll quickly explain this so you understand the video changemaker method. And this is what we use at every level, okay? With the video rainmaker programs, we don't go through all of it. We do the foundational and implementation stages and a little bit of scaling. And then with the other, obviously with agencies, this is the whole system that we implement into client's business. So when we go in and we do the groundwork first, and we go and do all this mining, we go and do all this stuff to make sure the messaging and everything else, that before we write a script, before we plan any videos, then we start looking at, have they got a validated offer, and we look at the offers. Next, messaging. Messaging is really, really key, but you can't do good messaging without understanding who your ideal client is, okay? And again, you can tighten it up, you can refine it, but the messaging and the way you deliver it and how you use messaging, very, very important. And then obviously we go into content creation, and that is, obviously that's the hub of it all. That's kind of where the real engine room and everything works. And again, AI is so important to all of that, but without the right information, it doesn't really matter what I do. And then this whole vision to reality, which is how to produce videos quickly and easily without all this production. So that's getting out of your own way and introducing processes and systems that work. And then the syndication mastery, which is kind of one of our superpowers. So how do you syndicate your content? And then how do we start to streamline, make sure your workflows and processes are better? And then we start adding rocket fuel, is how we start. There's very good ways we can advertise that are not necessarily expensive, that we can really reinforce our amplify our impact, authority, and brand building. And then omnipresence achieved is kind of twofold. We can use an organic strategy, but also with ads in terms of retargeting. Okay, there's a system. I hope. Can you just tell me whether you saw? I apologize if that's. I'm going to just stop sharing it for a second. Can you just tell me whether you saw those? Okay, I hope so. Can you just tell me whether you saw those? Because it's not quite how I expected it to show up on my screen. Too used to doing stuff in Zoom. That's the trouble. When I switch between systems, I tend to forget what I'm meant to be doing. Oh, I think I meant to be done it like that. I think if I do that. Anyway, I do apologize. So hopefully that was clear. But what I want to go through again, let me go back to, I want to go back to this one. You could see it. Brilliant. Okay, good. I apologize for that, because it's this guy I want to go back to. It's the dirty one, but there's a nice version of it. I now want to go back to this guy and talk you through that a little bit more in detail, because as I say, by doing this stuff, this is what lets you have confidence in terms of your messaging. This will let you shine. This, by doing this groundwork, it may seem strange, and that's why I opened with that line saying this is kind of weird. It's not what you're going to expect. You're going to expect me to tell you some brilliant and super duper stuff, but this is so important to everything you do. If you get it right, then you will be in the top echelons of what you do, and you can grow it from there. So let me quickly go back to this guy, and I will go back to my screen, and I'll go back to this guy. Okay, so yeah, so that is the same process as I just showed you in that pretty chart. So this is the video changemaker system, and the bit we're talking about is on the left-hand side. Is this actually that circle with that pink box area? And so we call it potential unleashed research power, because that's exactly it. It's giving you an incredible power. So I've named all my steps, and they go into, so when I talk about stuff, I know which part of the process, and we name our process. That's another good thing to do, which is name your unique mechanism. So our unique approach and unique mechanism is called the video changemaker system, and it's instilled into everything we do. It's just how we deploy it. So it's the same framework, same methodologies. It's just at what level we go and do it, and to what extent. And that's it. And again, I kind of learned this the hard way, trying to do too many things and too many of the same things in different ways. The easy way is just, it's the same framework. We have our own unique methodology, the video changemaker system, which we then use throughout, from the agency down to the coaching programs. And then this bit we're talking about, and I'm going to explain why I've got different color boxes there very quickly. So the left-hand side is kind of, for me, being a strategic kind of guy, and particularly with my background in analytics and financial markets and analyzing markets and all that for God knows how many years, and then into this space, then for the last 15 years, it kind of plays out into the same. Okay, and particularly when I was in the SEO, we're looking for opportunities, we're looking for angles to succeed, and that's no different now. So, and I called it the linchpin method for a very clear reason, because it was the linchpin to absolutely everything else we did. You get that wrong, you will find that your messaging's off, you're not quite getting the interaction, you're not getting what you want to do. Now, do you need to over engineer this? No. Do the groundwork, don't skip it, do the groundwork, get out there, do stuff, validate in the real world, and then refine and process. There's another thing that kind of we all spend too long pontificating and thinking about this stuff. It's far better to fail quickly, to get it out there, adapt, test. But if you know what you're going for and what you're testing against, and another good thing, and again, I talk about this in the video Rainmaker Challenge, which I'm going to be running another one in middle of January, by the way. So if you're interested in learning more about this, I will be running the video Rainmaker Challenge middle of January again, 15th, I think it is, starts on Monday the 15th. So if you want, I make sure I'll get you some more info on that. But I talk about in the challenge how then we validate offers quickly as well. We put them out into market to test the messaging. And the reason what you'll tend to find that doing that is that if your messaging slightly off, you'll attract the wrong type. If you get traction, you'll attract the wrong type of audience. So that's why by calling out to the right people and attracting, you'll start to realize you're on the right track. That is the gold. Once you've got that and you understand, you've got the pieces in place and your messaging is right, you are in an incredibly powerful position to make a huge difference, and it will make everything you do so much more efficient and effective. And then we then go on again, as I showed you, we've got these steps. Now, the only reason, and again, I wasn't really going to cover this, but the only reason that the colors are different are the ones in red are kind of what I call my core pillars. So topics I will talk about more often than not. Okay, so they're content pillars that I like to talk about. I talk about frequently. Obviously, you're going to hear me talk a lot about research and analysis, doing groundwork, particularly now with building out these tools. And it's fundamental to how your success ultimately. And then early on, again, in terms of the messaging, that's become more and more important now. And with this increase in noise levels and amount of content coming out into the world, that's really important to attract your tribe and like-minded people. So the red are just the content pieces I like to talk about. And because I've also gone deeper on those and I understand, I can talk about them in all different sorts of ways. Okay, so that's what that's there for. And that is what the escape and arrival framework does for you. And it takes you from where you are to where you want to get to be, or your ideal client. Again, as I was saying, if you are an expert who's been through the steps, let me stop sharing this. So if you're the expert who's walked in those shoes, who's been on that journey, then you're going to know. Think back to the situation you were in, what was going through your head, what you struggled with, what you look for. And again, tie that into the outputs of when you do the using the AI tools, and particularly if you use something like our ideal client avatar, blueprint AI assistant, then even more so, because you'll see what it outputs is really, really detailed. And what it also outputs is it comes at it from different angles. So it'll give you different perspective on the people. And that's another good thing. And that's another thing that AI is very good for. It lets you pick it up and have a look from different angles and stuff you wouldn't normally have thought about, or market segments, addressing market segments in a different way, and how your messaging may have to change to address those. Okay, so that's where it's good. So I am trying to keep it shorter. I'm trying to keep it quite precise, but that framework, I strongly recommend you adopt it for yourself. If you want any more, then come into the Facebook group, ask questions. I love it because it's such a simple. We always like to overcomplicate things. I like complex things. I like all that's going on. So come into the Facebook group, or wherever you ask me questions, but adopt that methodology. I don't care where you are in the process. It's good every now and again just to sit down, map it all out, have a look at that, and again, just drill into that, the ideal client avatar, feel it, understand what's going through their heads, what is it they need, what support, and then how do you get them to this new world? How can you help them on that journey? And then those stepping stones that you're going to take them on. And as I say, you're not going to deliver it all at once unless it's a full program. You may just give them pieces, but obviously you understand how that fits into the equation. It will help you in terms of your planning, your thinking, and not only but obviously the content you put out, but also in terms of the clarity you need. And if you know where you're going, it always makes the journey a hell of a lot easier. Okay, and again, I see that a lot. A lot of people are very unfocused. They're very unsighted in terms of what they want personally. Again, that's something I talk about in the Rainmaker program, and I talk about in the both in the challenge and the program. Because if you've got clarity, you know what you're aiming at, then put this together, it will help you a lot in terms of removing some of those obstacles. And also, in this world of ours where everything's on and we're getting interrupted with noise and distraction, you can stay focused on the task at hand. And also what you want to try and do with that is then you can start looking at the pieces. So it's like on demand. You execute, implement and execute on what you need to there and then. And then as you get to the next stage, you can go to the next piece and go, right, I'm now ready for this. So if you need to learn a new skill set, then I'm now ready to. I don't need it. Now I'm a great one. You pick up all these skills and all these things and you go like, no, don't need it yet. So I've got better at that whole thing of learning. Okay, I know the information's there. I know whoever provides the courses or the experts out there, I can get it when I go need it, or I can go to them and go, right, I now need this. And because here's what I want to do. I need your teaching because this is what I want to achieve. Okay. So that's kind of it. So I'm going to wrap this one up. I'm going to try and, as I say, I think not doing too badly. It's good for me. But Escape and Arrival framework, please use it. And, if I can help in any other way, then please do reach out and let's see what we can do. But again, if you start using this, then it impacts on absolutely everything else you do. So the why is do it because everything else hangs on this. Do it properly and your results will be better. Ultimately, the videos you make will be better. The messaging will resonate better, or at least you can tie it into the right messaging. You'll get better at that, and then everything else starts to work. And as I said, as you saw in that diagram, once you start to get these bits, that's when, if you want to, that's when you can start to scale your business. And again, in the challenge, I talk about, and in some other videos, I talk about, don't pour rocket fuel into a broken engine. This is building the right engine. This is building the right infrastructure, the right structure around it, building the engine so that everything's complete. There's no point putting a mini engine into a Ferrari. It might look good, but it doesn't go very fast. So build the right engine, and then that's when you start pouring rocket fuel into it. Okay, so I hope you like that one. Alrighty, any questions? If you've got any questions, then fire away. I'll have a quick drink of coffee, but if you've got any questions for me, then please, love to hear it. Otherwise, I will catch you either in the group or any questions you have. And if you are interested, as I said, there's a number of things. So we've got this. So the agency side, that is based on that video ChangeMaker approach, which is implementing an entire video marketing strategy into a business so it works and it's tested and proven. We do that in 90 days. We're pretty confident that we know what we're about and we can do it pretty successfully. Obviously, depends what niche, but sometimes more work. But 90 days, we can implement an entire video marketing strategy and then obviously hand it back. I then have something I haven't talked about. I have a sort of video marketing mastery, which is for those who it's more aimed at high-end experts, but it's really aimed at agency owners and marketing executives who wanted to stay at the forefront of video, or business owners who want to, of video and obviously AI with all the speed that's going on there. And then the Video Rainmaker coaching program is kind of where we make sure we get everything built out, do it right, so we can scale it and take you to new heights and level. And that we can take you from that unseen expert into that the Video Rainmaker. Video is working very powerfully for you. You enjoy making content, you enjoy making videos, but it's not onerous because you've got a good process in place, and it means your impact, authority, and brand will just get so much bigger and so much better. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. And then I will be running another challenge, which is kind of bits of this, and I've got some other stuff that I'll probably do. But the Video Rainmaker challenge was something I did for a very specific reason. I will continue to. I enjoy doing it. Actually, it was a horrific amount of work at first because I didn't know what I was taking on. But I really enjoy it, and I've actually got a whole part of what I've got to do over Christmas is implement new systems and new processes there to adapt it to what's going on now in the world and how we've evolved it. But that's good. Yeah, thank you very much indeed, and thank you for being here. So thank you for your time, and just think about that. Think about that Escape and Arrival. Think about that. Go and map it out for you and your business, and more importantly for your ideal client. And then think about that. think about your competitors as well. So if you come to me, that's exactly what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you for your business details. So go and put that in a document, about your business, a bit about if you are a personal brand or an expert, put a little expert bio together on you. So your story, that's what you want to probably do. That's where your origin story is good. Or if you've walked in the shoes of the people that are going to be following you, so if you've been down that journey, if you are the living proof of whatever you solve for someone, and you've been on that journey and mission yourself, then that is the hero's journey. Again, I'm going to leave that for another time. That's the hero's journey. You've walked in that. What have you overcome to get to where you are now? And that is very, very powerful if you can relay and share that information in your journey and your hero's journey. So have that expert bio written up. I actually got AI, just an aside. I got AI, I fed it a certain amount of information about me. I then got it to interview me as a journalist, as a world-leading journalist, to interview me to create my hero's journey. And it was incredible. It did an amazing job. I was really quite staggered at what it did do. It was really quite an interesting exercise, and the output is brilliant. And I'm using it now because actually it's very apt to what's going on in the world at the moment in terms of the change and everything else, and my background of the things I've done. I've been at the forefront of different moves and how I've seen patterns and see things, and that's fed into this whole AI thing. So it's very appropriate, good timing. Do that, put that document together with the details. Then what you know about your obviously your product. So have a document with the product detail or your offering, whatever it is. Have those details there. Then that's what you want, and then you want to start putting this stuff around your ideal client avatar. Now remember, the reason for doing that is what will feed into your AI, because that's what gives it the tone and color, and also you get it to read documents of content you've created, so it starts to understand and recognize your voice, and then you save that. Depends which platform you're using, but obviously let's say you're using ChatGPT, then obviously you can then get it to read, analyze, and do stuff, and then give you its interpretation of how you come across, how you want to be heard, and you could save those as documents, but keep them there and they come into it. At some point I'll show you how we can do batch content creation in very, very simple way, because we've given it all this information. We tell it what we want to push, what product we're looking at, and then it'll come in, and there's a whole lot of other stuff we do there. But now again, we've simplified that process. Okay, so I appreciate your time. Thank you very much indeed, and I'm going to leave you now. All right, thank you. Have a great one. And obviously I won't see you. This is the last one before Christmas. So a very Merry Christmas. Have a great time. Enjoy Christmas, the festive period, however you celebrate it, however you do, but have a good time with friends and family. And I do plan at the moment, I think I will do one next week. So next Thursday, same time, I'm going to try and do one. And that'll be, I'm actually going to talk a bit more. I think I'll either go back and talk a little bit about some stuff going on in the AI world and show you some of that, or I'm going to carry on talking about some of those pillars. Okay, the milestones we're going to go through. Okay, particularly as we get on to the messaging and stuff like that. It's so important. Okay, so have a great one, and I'll catch you